It's Perinatal Mental Health Week, and I experienced postnatal depression after the birth of my first daughter back in 2016. So she's 8 years old now, and um, it's really interesting to reflect back on how much that experience changed my life. Not only was motherhood and parenthood life-changing, but so was actually experiencing the postnatal depression. And it was when she was 12 weeks old, my daughter, that I realized that, or finally admitted that I was struggling and had postnatal, or seeked out the resources to then find that I had postnatal depression. And it had been quite a journey. We had not had the best birth experience. She had a couple of complications. She'd been born 10 days early, so I wasn't prepared. Um, I wasn't prepared for what would come also from having a baby be separated from me and be in the neonatal ward. That hadn't been a thought that had even crossed my mind. So that in itself was challenging, and having her tongue tie made breastfeeding challenging, but it was something that I was so adamant about that I wasn't prepared to let that go, but that was a choice that I needed to make for me. And it was very much motherhood, such an initiation into who you want to be as a mother, the expectations you have of yourself, which come from society, but also the ideals that you have as well, what you picture as this picture perfect moment. And that yeah, what happened was not at all what I had pictured in my mind. So that was quite confronting on its own. And to have the baby that wasn't sleeping and that was crying all the time. And we had done the tongue tie snip when she was only 10 days old. So we thought we had addressed that issue, but there were still latch problems, still feeding problems. And it was only once she was 3 months that we realized that it had reattached, and she also had a lip tie as well. So that answered a lot of the problems that we were having. But it was, yeah, by the time we reached that point, then I guess the mum guilt really stepped in that if only I had noticed sooner, if only I had reached out for help sooner as well. That was a big thing for me, not reaching out for help, not asking for help. And that had a lot to do with my being a perfectionist and my feeling like I needed to be in control, and also knowing that I wanted to parent differently to the ways that my mother had parented me, or that our parents had parented us. And so not really being open to any help, because I felt like then if I let that bit help, then I would have to allow more things in that wasn't what I agreed in. So it was quite challenging. And I think for a lot of conscious parenting, that it is quite challenging to be in that space where you know you are the cycle breaker, and you're wanting to change things and do things differently. But it's always um, such a journey of discovering who you are as a parent and who your child is as well, and to get into that flow of understanding what it is that they need and understanding what it is that you want for them as well. So there's so much at play, and I'm so grateful for my experience, because it's what led me to kinesiology. I always say my first daughter led me to kinesiology, my second led me to the multidimensional quantum healing, and now I'm using both modalities in my business, and it's so it just takes me to these greater depths with my clients, where I'm able to really I've had that lived experience, and that's one thing I know to be true about myself is that I am an experiential being. And as a 1-3 manifesting generator in human design, I think it's the 3 line that I need to share what I have discovered from what I have experienced. And that isn't so much as like, this is what I did, you should do it too. It's more of a, this is what I experienced. So I understand, I've been there, I know what it's like. This is what helped me. Take it or leave it, it's up to you. But just that knowing that you're not alone, like that in itself is always um so heartwarming and so liberating. And I'm sure you've felt that, like that when you're on your own healing journey, when you're on your awakening journey, you start to um, discover these new parts of yourself that you are sometimes meeting for the first time, and you are having to um, heal a lot of wounds, a lot of pain, and you are also trying to grasp this deeper understanding of yourself. And there's many ego deaths that happen within that, because what you knew to be true like a few years ago, or even last year, or even 10 days ago, may not be true anymore. And then you're in this void, this space where you are trying to um, come to terms with who you are shaping out to be, to understand who that is, to get to know that person. And then from that space, you're then getting ready to share that person with the world. And there's that vulnerability there that um, you're only just getting to know this person again, and to step out into the world um, and share that with someone. And there's always that inner child wounding of not being received in the way that you want to be received. So there's so many depths to this. Um, and yeah, so I just wanted to speak to that. When I understood that I was struggling and had postnatal depression, I reached out to some friends, and one dear friend mentioned kinesiology. And when I read into it, I was just like, oh my God, this is for me. How did I not know about this? It's everything that I'm into. Um, and that, yeah, led me onto this path. And then the other thing that I did was I tried calling some helplines, and it was the weekend. So some of the helplines that I rang were closed. So I left a message, and one of the ones I rang was PANDA, their helpline. And they rang me back on the Monday, and it was just so reassuring to speak to someone that got it, to speak to someone that was listening to me with no judgment, and who was just that safe space for me to just share what it was that I was going through. And these these spaces are so um, trying to find the right word to grasp how special they are, because we when we go to reach out to someone for help, there's this fear of, if we're going to be helped in the way that we need to, if we're going to be understood in the way that we need to, if we're going to be judged, if we're going to, like, any reaction that could happen. So there's that fear of reaching out because of that. And it's not even the external judgment, it's also the judgment that we're putting on ourselves, like that I shouldn't need to be asking for help. So it's a very internal and external struggle that we go through. And just picking up the phone to make that call is huge. Pressing, like hitting the dial button, hitting call is huge. Staying on the phone is huge. There can be times where you may be in that space and knowing that you need to make the call, but you get there to make it, but then you hang up. So whatever level you are at, just know that it's like, really appreciate yourself for where you're at. don't judge yourself, and just know that it's okay and that it's normal and that you will get to the next level and the next level and the next level when you're ready to receive that help, when you're ready to receive that healing in whichever way or shape or form it's going to come through. So, yeah, my message is to, reach out for support when you need it. And sometimes it's like, you don't need to wait for the house to be on fire to ask for help. Like, get to know your limits, because a lot of us go through burnout because we're overdoing it and we're taking too much on. We've lost the village that we should have to help us raise our children, to raise our families. So the more that we reach out for help at the earlier stages, the easier it is for us to bounce back. And the more we do that also with our brothers and our sisters, with our friends, with our family, with our loved ones, with our community, the more we normalize this needing help, that it's okay to ask for help. Like, that was huge for me. Like, it's okay to ask for help. We are not built to do this alone. So the more that we just are open and vulnerable with each other, and the more we receive each other in that loving space, then the more we're going to be able to work through all of this with ease. Um, and that's how we make the shift. That's how we make the shift from the head into the heart. That's how we make the shift from the fear consciousness into the love and unity consciousness. So these are the ways that we can work through it together. And like I said, if it doesn't have to be, if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to someone that you know, or you don't feel like you know anyone that would understand, then there's so many helplines to reach out, and they will all be very much promoting their services during Perinatal Mental Health Week, because we need to break the stigma. We need to let you know that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to get support. It's okay to get that community around you, to get that connection that you need. We are human beings and we need that connection with one another. So that's my story, my message to you. And I just hope that, if you know anyone that is struggling with perinatal mental health, to just let them know that you're there for them. Sometimes instead of asking for help, you can offer your services. You can offer, like, let me clean your house right now. You go take a rest. Let me cook you some dinner. You can just arrive there with some dinner. There's so many different things that you can do to just take the edge off, to help release the burdens. Or you can just be that shoulder to cry on, or that ear to listen to, and really be listening in that, like listening with your heart, and just taking it all in, and allowing yourself to be that safe space for someone to open up to. So so please share this with anyone that you feel needs to hear this message, to know that there is always help out there, and that my number one lesson out of this was to know that it is okay to ask for help. So I'm sharing that with you once again. So much love to you all. Thank you.